One, one. Ah, there we go. My microphone's decided to work now. Yay! Nitz is doing the clinch field. Fair enough. And NJTE and Northern Illinois Train Spotting, good morning to you both. And good morning to the other people who are watching. There seem to be a few. Very good. And looks like sound's going out now. Hopefully. Hopefully. Ah, sigh. The joys of USB. Anyway, today we're having a look at the OEBB 4746 Cityjet, and we're also looking at the other version of it, the blue one. So it's from Skyhook Games. It came out, I don't know, maybe 3 weeks ago. It runs on Inselbahn. You get a couple of standard scenarios for it. It's a pro range thing. Honestly, I think I would have liked a few more scenarios because you don't really get very many. So, just as a hint, Skyhook, a few more scenarios would be always good. So you basically get the 4746 in 2 liveries, red and white for Cityjet and the blue and grey one. And it says unbranded, but it's actually not, so whatever. And you get the usual claims of authentic cab controls and an accurate passenger view, but they always say that, realistic door animations and controls, etc. So let's jump in and have a look. So first up, we're going to run the OSTD 4746, and it's this one. Late train from Ostibad. Ostseebad? Something like that. Hello, David Park. How are you? He's hoping it works with Raildriver today. Because last time... Whoops, I better reset my Raildriver because it was set up for something I was doing yesterday. NJTE asked, why doesn't TSC have a timetable mode? Because it's dumb. It doesn't have a dispatcher. Good evening, you will drive RE 76386 from Ostibad Bins to Stralsund main station. Open the doors and get ready to depart. Alright, let's get some lights on. Let's get the doors open. Now, one thing I will do is just hop into options and... Is this not the right panel? Ambient light intensity. Let's bring you right up. Let's see if that helps. Not really. I was hoping it would brighten up the darkness, but that's okay. Alright, let's keep going with our setup. Cab on. And we should have doors open already. We do. Main switch is already on. Pantograph should be up. It's a bit hard to tell in the dark, but there you go. And we've got all our PZB switches, which hopefully match. These ones match the Train Sim World 3 PZB switches. Now we want this to be top and tail, so that's right. Let's have a high beam light because it's night time. And everything else should be about right, I think. Now it does have CIFA and PZB turned on by default. It couldn't handle any timetable really, NJTE, because it doesn't actually have a dispatcher. It follows pre-programmed paths, whereas Train Sim World 3 actually works it out as it goes. Sounds like there's another train nearby whose doors are opening and closing. Oh, it is actually ours. Do we have lights on in the cab? We do. Die, OSTD. And I think that says Wunschdien gut Fahrt. So there you go. I wish you a good fart too, train. It's always satisfying. And we are, of course, waiting for doors to close, and then we'll get a move on. They're all closing one at a time. It's not quite true that it doesn't have a timetable. I'll show you. Remind me at the end, and I'll show you. It does actually have a timetable. You can set one up. Oh, that's right. Horns Q. And resetting C for his spacebar. Just to be different. Alright then. Now, can I remember how to use this? Did we go into forwards then? No, did now. Brakes are releasing. And I'm going to leave the cab light on just so you can see what's happening in the cab. Oh, that's right. This thing's brakes are terrible. In fact, so terrible, I think I'll stop using Raildriver. I forgot. And away we go. With our little OEBB blue thing. There's even people in there. That's why they say it's unbranded, but it's branded OSTD, so I don't know. And you know what happened there? Sifa Zwangbremsung, indeed. Okay. Back to braking. See, you can't leave the cab in this. I forgot. Valuable lesson. Let's go. Are you going to release the brakes, train? That's right. Into braking. Reset Sifa. Now it'll release the brakes. There we go. Off we go again, and this time I'm staying in the cab. If you want to leave the cab, you have to turn Sifa off. It's pretty simple. Unfortunately. That signal's not mine, fortunately. It does have a particularly, I'm going to call it a violent implementation of PZB. So you need to stay well and truly within the bounds of what you're allowed to do with PZB, or it'll bite you. It's an Ice 1 over there. The locals being routed out in front of an Ice 1. That's always funny. It's just a different kind of engine, NJTE, so it doesn't really support dispatch-based running. I am now allowed to speed up. Thank you, PZB. No, I'm not. PZB lets me speed up, but the speed didn't. Fair enough. Oh, I should just pay attention then. It's got an interesting feature. Once you set it to T0, where it is at the moment, it just maintains its speed, so it's kind of like a cruise control. Thank you, Sifa. Why are we zooming, mouse? Yay, we can go faster. Full beans. And we'll wait till Sifa resets, and then we'll do a quick out of cab. We're in an area of the world that, well, okay, there's not much to see in the dark, is there? There am I. Look at that. Whee! Alright, we'll just stay in the cab. We'll go out, do more outside cab in the daytime one that's coming later. Now approaching Prora Ost. Sifa. It takes a little bit of getting used to actually drive this one. And one of those wonderful places in the world where they don't honk at crossings. The kind of places that annoy northern Illinois Gunzel. Does anyone who's watching now not have a Train Sim World 3 key? My graphic settings, I'm running at 2K. And I have everything maxed out. You can stop now, train. Honest. Ah, overran. Now it stops. Very good. Which will mean the front doors didn't open. Yay! Because I overran the platform like a wally. And I know your next inevitable question. There you go. 40 FPS near enough. GPU does affect this game a little bit. We've got our door open symbol, the big yellow thing there. We've got to wait for that. And we have doors closed. So away we go. Press it, go pumpy pumpy. Next stop, Prora, or Prowra, something like that. I had a friend of mine giving me some coaching lessons in German last night. Did I not acknowledge? Oh, yes. I didn't acknowledge the speed sign. So now we have to brake, acknowledge, reset, and now we can go again. Yay! I told you it had a violent PZV. And I think back there somewhere will be a speed sign that I didn't acknowledge. And should have. Because there's no friendly helper like there is in Train Sim World 3 that goes, you need to acknowledge this now or I'm going to bite you. Right before it bites you. Zifa. It's actually Zifa, I'm told. S's sound like Z's. Zifa. See, Alex, I did listen. The mate of mine who watches, who never admits he watches, but he watches. There's another magnet, so just in case, I'll acknowledge it, even though I don't think I have to acknowledge that one. I will anyway. Next stop, Prora. It is a horribly loud crossing, but it's a... Oh, what did I miss this time? Now this time I'm going to get out and have a look. Alright. Let's... What did I miss? We're not going to be able to see anyway, are we? What did I miss? Tell me what I missed, chat. Oh, well. I clearly missed something that PZB wanted acknowledged, and I didn't acknowledge it. Told you it takes getting some used to. Funnily enough, I've done full runs on this with no one watching, and it's been fine. I've acknowledged everything. Tonight, clearly not. Well, this morning, I'm clearly shit at it. That's okay. I see a magnet, so just in case, we'll push the button. Eva. Hello, Artful. I am well, thank you. Hopefully you are as well. Hopefully everyone is. Lexic Dark, can you turn the gamma up for us? You can't see the signals well at all. Professional? You confused me with someone else, sir. Let's stop in the platform this time. Get the doors open. While that's happening, let's see if I can actually turn the gamma up. Who knows? Not there. Camera options. No. I have a faint suspicion you actually can't do that when you're playing. I think you have to be out of the game to turn the gamma up. Unless you know how, Lexic Dark. Welcome, by the way. Does sound a bit like McDonald's. Actually, while this is happening, why don't we do the first stage of the quiz?
Shall we play a
See how people
game?
go today. So, we're doing locomotive and route today, and there's 3 of them. So we will, in just a moment, see the first clue. Just a moment. Any second now. It'll work, honest. There we go. There's your first clue. We're guessing the locomotive and the route. A bit of brightness, you reckon? Can't do that easier. By the looks of it. No. They're the only things I can change. So pretty much nothing. I think these are just noise, CRT curved edge, normal. Yeah, they're not really going to help anything. That's. Oh, you know what I could do, actually? Hang on a tick. I can do something. Let's see if this actually works. Maybe I can't. What if I add? I'm just messing around in OBS to see if there's anything I can do in here. And it doesn't really look like it. And I was hoping I could turn the brightness up there, but I can't. Oh well. That's okay. So I can turn it up. What about reshade? No, that only works when you're changing the game too, when you're out of the game. Oh well. Away we go. The next one will be during the day. Be all good. Now I've just got to be careful to not speed because PZB. Actually, I can probably release that. But it doesn't let me release it. It still stays with its 45 in monitoring. So we'll be good. David Park bought the Humble Bundle deal for TSC yesterday. Yeah, I got it too because there were a few routes in there and a few trains that I didn't actually have. And the others I will give away at some point. So I just revealed all the keys without redeeming them. And am I really speeding? I am really speeding. I'm naughty. There you go. Just hold speed. Have I seen the new China Railways from Just Trains? No, I haven't. I'll have to have a look. What? Now, I don't think there was anything there that I should have acknowledged. So just excuse me while I duck out of here for a moment and duck back into... Where is Steam? There's Steam. And we're going to do something. We're going to kill PZB because this is giving me the shits. Better be a manual. There's a manual. Look at this. Looking at the manual live on air. There we go. Page 12. Driving with PZB. We're going to kill PZB. I know you can. I just don't remember how. Select a train type. I don't want to select the train type. I want to kill it. And driving PZB 90. Yeah. How do I turn it off? Let's try Shift F8. Shift 8. Aha. PZB off. Let's go. This will be more productive. It's very green, is it? I have heard of Plague Tale Requiem. It's not one I'd play on channel, but you know, there's games I play that I don't play on channel. Like Stray. That's just fun. I didn't see anything either. Lexic Dark. Clearly, or I wouldn't, or I would have behaved. Let's do a little bit of spirited running now that we're not being monitored by PZB. Just to catch up time. Just to be a few kilometres over. It'll be alright. It'll be okay. Honestly. Still got Sifa turned on to annoy me. So, I shall review that later. And go and have a look at the video and see whether I missed something, which is certainly possible. Or whether it's just a bit overactive on the PZB. I think we should go lots faster. It's a straight track. What could go wrong? Because I want to get this nighttime one over and done with so I can run the daytime one. Because it'll be much cooler. And the next station's like 4 kilometres from here. Stayed on the track. No problems. No, officer, I'm not doing 35 kilometres over the speed limit. No. I had better start slowing down a little, though. We do have a tight curve coming up. That Death Star's back. Super. Back down to 50 k's. It's probably a line change, I would guess, at that speed. So how are people this evening? Morning. It is morning for me. It's evening for a lot of you. The only disadvantage of Just Train's stuff, Artful, is I can't get it from... don't know what happened to my thing here. It died. Strange. There you go. So, the only problem with Just Trains is I can't get them out of Dovetail. I have to buy them. But that's okay. I often do buy stuff. Instrument lights aren't really useful, are they? This countryside's really picturesque and lovely, isn't it? See, this I'd have to acknowledge. For a whole lot of reasons. Thank you, Northern Illinois Train Spotting. Very good of you. As we come into Litzau. Let's crawl our way in a very un-Germanic way. Nowhere near on time. We are 5 minutes late. We'll have to do something about that. Gives me a difficult day most of the time, David Park. That's okay. I am on Inselbahn. On you, stop. Very good. Doors open. Hello, Dare Rail. How are you? It's a morning for me, but evening for you. Is there a little train? D Dartful RSSLO makes a lot of stuff. And a lot of it's really good. This one's by Skyhook though, so it's a bit different. Doors are closed, we can go. Northern Illinois train spotting wants me to return to California or Illinois. It's not really on the cards. 6 PM for David Park. Yes, I know I'm speeding. It's because I'm late. I want to catch up time. Just being naughty. You know, Northern Illinois train spotting, I don't usually admit this, but I was a scout leader for 15 years. It wouldn't matter what you did. I've seen it all. We're going to continue our practice of going too fast. Route's not a massive one, but it's a long way between stops. Seemed to get away with nearly 120 last time, so let's continue with that. Oops, wrong way. No, I want T0. There we go. Cruise control enabled. And Derail says problem with TSW is set with the last update. Now all problems is fixed. I try again and now all is good. Oh, for that derail. I think there still are some derail issues. Because I've had one since the update. And I do run a somewhat different build to you guys, so if I got it, you will. That's why I don't stream Train Sim World all the time, because I'm on a different build and I can't. Interesting watching these poles just appear out of the dark for us. 5 kilometres to go, and we're managing to stay on the track in these corners, which is surprising. We're doing okay. Next time we reset safer, I'll go outside. Artful has been driving a lot of old American steam trains, thanks to some lovely recreations of the Wild West trains. Are you using the ones from Smokebox? The Union Pacific and the like? There is an Aussie route that's been getting worked on for about the last 10 years for Train Sim Classic. Most Australian content is in Oran trains. Funnily enough, because it was originally an Australian company and it's still built out of Brisbane in Queensland. Even though it's not Australian owned anymore. It's good of you to come out, Northern Illinois Transporting. I'm sure he loves you back. Now, I can't really stay out here because CIFA. And Darrell says he's on TrainSim World because he doesn't have a PC to be on TSC. Otherwise, as soon as he buys a PC, he'll think much more about TSC. TSC doesn't take much of a PC. You want the fastest CPU you can get your hands on. Because the CPU is much more important in this game than the GPU. The GPU does some work. Particularly if you run things like RW Enhanced, the GPU will do more work. But the CPU is the big thing for it. Are its brakes good enough to pull this off? That's the question. There goes another one of our little blue friends. I'm tipping I'm actually going to have to stop braking. Its brakes are very good. Yeah, Midland Line is quite good. The New Zealand Train Sim team have been doing some work, so some stuff to look forward to with Midland Line. You run on the lowest settings, David. You get a better frame rate that way. Yes, Sifa. It's okay. You may be calm, little Sifa. Northern Illinois Train Spotting asks, well, first he exclaims that engineers always have to apply the brakes aggressively on commuter trains, and then asks, why is that? It's pretty simple. They have a very tight timetable, so they accelerate hard and they brake hard. And their trains are also very light, so it doesn't really matter. And David Park said if he'd get every good DLC for Train Sim Classic, he would, but it costs a lot of money. I did see about a year ago, so this will have changed by now, obviously, but I did see about a year ago, someone added it all up, and it was about 15,000 US dollars to get all of it. So that is rather a lot. Off we go to Teschenhagen. Says he, no doubt butchering the Germanic name. Yeah, I don't have all the DLC. I have a lot. I think I've got about 150 something for Train Sim Classic. And I've probably had about, I don't know, 20 of those I've gotten out of the Ambassador program, but the rest of them I've bought, so. We all got to do what we got to do. Despite what people think, I don't automatically. 130 probably is a little quick. I don't get automatically all the DLC for the games. If I have a project in mind, I can request them and give them a little project plan and explain what's in it for them. Then I might get them. Northern Illinois Train Spotting says his friend thinks that engineers need to release the train brake at stations while passengers board and literally cause the train to jerk around like toys. If it's the station's flat or a bowl, that would be fine. You could release the brake and just keep the engine brakes on. And in some railways, that actually is the normal practice. But it can make the carriages move. So if you're on a slope, If it's a downward slope, so all the carriages are bunched up against the locomotive anyway, you can release the brake, it won't do anything. But if you are at the opposite, and it's all bunched up against the loco because you stopped, and it's sloping away from the loco, when you release the brake, the carriages will roll because the couplings will stretch. Alright, it's time to test those really good brakes again. You can tell I'm trying to get this nighttime run just over and done with, can't you? Epic the 112. Have you seen my train sim world suggestion where the OEBB Brohi 4744-4746 set as its home route the Austrian Schnellfahrstrecke Wien-Linz-Salzburg-Westbahn, since the 4744-4746 can layer to Inselbahn-Sassnitz? I hadn't actually seen it, but it sounds like a nice suggestion. Be nice to have another country, wouldn't it? And Austria's out of all of the ones where we can have another country. I would think Austria, Switzerland and the like would be relatively likely because they have actually got signalling systems for them. Those last cars must be outside the platform. They are. It's a very short platform. That's okay. I think it's time for another quiz.
Shall we play a game?
How are we going? Does that help you? I reckon I'll give you 2 clues this time while we're waiting for the doors to open. So we need the locomotive and the route. Oh, that should give it away. That should give the route away. Actually, it's not a short platform. I just stopped away from the end. Full Fang. David asked, did DT just give it to you or request it? It depends. If they want the ambassadors to highlight something, they'll give it to us. If they otherwise you can make requests. And you have to put in a proposal. Northern Illinois Train Spotting says some engineers will keep the train brake at initial or minimal reduction. Well, that's only for Westinghouse braking systems. Doesn't apply for anybody else. 5 kilometres and a bit to Samptons. We'll have to wait and see whether Northern Illinois Train Spotting's actually got this. We'll have to see, won't we? You have definitely got Caltrain, right? I'll give you that. And you'll just have to wait and see whether you got the baby bullet right. Artful says you can see India coming soon, as that Indian guy has done very well with his work. I've seen a little bit of Indian stuff for TSC. Not a lot. I have actually been looking for some. So if you have any suggestions of where to look... I sort of slow down a tiny bit for that curve. It seemed a little steeper than the others. If you've got any ideas where I can look to get some Indian trains, I would actually like to. Epic the 112 said, for the picture, that is the Caltrain Peninsula Corridor Baby Bullet MP36 and layers to Oakville Subdivision as a GO Transit train. I think Epic the 112 might be onto something. Hello, Jonah. How are you? I actually just got the Caltrain and Gilroy for this game. Because they were part of the Humble Bundle. If you don't know about the Humble Bundle, you probably won't be able to drop a link into the chat, Artful, so have to just spell it out. If you use Twitter, Train Simulator 8 is me on Twitter. You could send it to me there easily enough, or you could send it to me on the Dovetail forum, that would also be fine. But I've got links in chat turned off because that keeps most of the porn bots out of here without me having to do anything. I did find the Darjeeling train. I've got that, and I've run that on stream once. Most people don't know who I am on Discord. Northern Illinois Train Spotting. Last time I shared my Discord, I got lots of junk mail from many, many people. Will it stop? Yes, it will. Come just right at the end. There we go. Bit early, maybe. Actually, if you spell it out, Artful, that'll probably work. So don't try and paste it into the link. Just do it phonetically. What have I done? I've killed the sound. Ah, there we go. Who knew? The pause key pauses the game. I didn't know that. Door's closed. And away we go. Off to Rambin. What do people do at Rambin? So we drive our Chasing the Moon special. Northern Illinois Train Spotting self-promotes his Naperville rail panning video. No, I haven't watched it yet. Brakes with composite pads often smoke. Oh no, we're speeding again. Yeah, I wouldn't mind running some Indian stuff. I visited India once, but I didn't actually have the opportunity to ride any Indian trains, which was sad. It's got Caltrain in it, Jonah. Hello, CCT Mitch. How are you? You, like me, are probably still waiting for a theory exam to get published so we can go and do it. I'll remember one day. I think our next holiday will actually be Malaysia. Just while this is happening.
Shall we play
Let's
a
see
game?
if our young mate's right. Probably heard a cipher in the background then. Actually, I don't know if it remembers it, if it's got the game sound for you. So what do you reckon? Does that look like Caltrain to you? The train's definitely Caltrain. Mm. The next one will tell us whether he's right or not, so I'm stopping there. It's actually one of those interesting things, because you've put a doubt in my mind, Mr. Epic the 112. Whether it's Caltrain or whether it's Oakville. Because I have to admit, I can't actually remember if that's Caltrain or Oakville. Now, I just looked at it and went, yeah, that's Caltrain. But, So I think what I'll do, as he overruns the platform completely, not going to nib with it though, I've got some doors in the platform. It's about time I let the people in the back out. I think Mr. Epic the 112, because there's a doubt in my mind, I'm going to give you both the points for this one. So you both get route points. Because I can't actually remember whether that's Oakville or whether that's Caltrain Peninsula Corridor. I was very interested to see that... Ooh, that's loud. Let's get out of here. It's too loud. Hello, Michael Newbury. Welcome. We're in Austria. It's like Australia, but it doesn't have kangaroos, snakes, or spiders. It does have Australians, though. There's a lot of Australians in Austria. McDonald's is all over the world, Mr. Northern Illinois Train Spotting. Heading to Altfa. And going too fast. No! How far have we got to know now? 3 stations. Safer. 3 stations. Where are we? Near the end. Woohoo! Then we'll be in daylight. Yay! Yeah, the alarm does sound a bit like McDonald's, I'll give you that. So let's flip back to the quiz quickly.
Shall we play a game?
And it is which locomotive? Come on. The MP36. Very good, and I almost got stopped by Sifa and you didn't see it. There you go, it is the MP36. And I did put that it's Caltrain, but there's a strong doubt in my mind, so I kind of think maybe it is actually Oakville. So I reckon I'm probably just wrong. But that's okay, there's more quizzes to be had today. As we approach Altfa. And Artful says there's some free locomotives and routes to test. That will be good. And Northern Illinois Train Spotting Metro uses former CB and Q gallery cars. Well, there you go. And I should probably start braking, not accelerating. As we come into Altfa and Zifa. So what do you reckon the next quiz is? Because there's 3 of them today. Now, does anybody in this chat not have Train Sim World on Steam? 3. Zifa. That crossing is way too loud. It's a problem when you put a new train on an old route. And Nits, I think you're correct that that line is owned by Canadian National. Go Transit have trackage rights. Jonah does not. Ah, you better work on the quizzes then, Jonah, because I have a Train Sim World 3 key for Steam to give away today. Now, if you're the only person in the chat that doesn't have it by the end, whether you win the quizzes or not, I'll probably just give it to you, but, you know, I will need a way to contact you, though. So either a name for the Dovetail forums that I can reach you on, or a Twitter handle or something like that, or a Discord name that I can get you on. We're now arriving at Artfar. Or is it Altfar? Altifar? I don't know. Something like that. You can stop now, train. Any moment now. It'd be good. This side. Lexic Dark says he's pushed to find a lock to even have considered a key, and Jonah says he doubt his laptop could run it. With low enough settings, should be able to. It actually runs on almost anything. I don't want your homies, Northern Illinois Train Spotting. They're not part of my community. If they joined my community, then that would be a different story. It's interesting how it closes all the doors one at a time. One car as it progresses up through the train. Alright then, let's go. Off to Stralsund-Sassnitz. Rugendam? That would make sense. Because an umlaut U would be oo, wouldn't it? I think. I don't actually have my own Discord. I'm on the Train Sim Discord, though. Yeah, the things that JD puts on are fun. But I think he's been a little bit busy. I think that's why they haven't put anything out. Ziffer. They've started a new practice on the streaming. So yes, they've reduced their streams. So the Workshop Wednesdays with Jamie is continuing. And DTG will stream as the occasion warrants. So showing off new things. But they are also getting the ambassadors to do streams. So you will see more from us. People may have seen one from Ramajani promoted the other day. It was a fairly long stream on learning PZB. Without helpers. I don't think British Ace has got his own server either. He just uses the Train Sim World server. So do I, I'm on there. Steve. Why do you always say you Aussies? I don't know. Actually, you're an American. You wouldn't say Aussies. You'd go Aussies. Because Americans don't know how to talk. You know, that comment's not staying, Mr. Northern Illinois Train Spotter. That one's not cool. As we crawl into Stralsund, Rugendam. Crawl, crawl, crawl. Crawl. A bit more crawling. You know, even YouTube didn't like that comment, because it picked it up and held it. Welcome to Stralsund-Sassnitz. If you are leaving us here, ladies and gentlemen, please collect your belongings and get off me train. It is nice to be an ambassador, because I do get access to some stuff that I otherwise probably couldn't afford. But there is a bit of work in it. They get us to do things like make tutorials and stuff like that, which I kind of like doing anyway. Aren't I moving? There we go. I can't stay out of the cab long because of SIFA. I think we're not very far from the end of this run. It's an interesting phrase, dead meat, because by definition meat is in fact dead. Because when it's alive, it's either an animal or a person. So by definition, meat is dead. Unless it's that weird laboratory meat, which is kind of alive and kind of not. Dear Raoul, your English is fantastic. Probably a lot better than my German place names. Almost at the end of the line now, with Stralsund HBF. Which I'm told is Han Bahnhof, or Big One. So you'd be very cold meat then, Lexic Dark. Did that come from the Alien movie? I seem to remember that in a movie somewhere. I think I remember another movie with aliens where they described humans as bags of meat that are mostly water. So I didn't do well on HBF. I'm sorry. Yellow signal. And soon we'll be in the red version of this thing. Daryl is from Serbia. I actually have family from Serbia. Serbia, Slovenia, Hungarian, bit of Russian. Married a Greek. My mum's from England. Bit of everything. I had family on the First Fleet coming into Australia on both sides of the bars, the inner and the outer. The original innies and outies. One of my family members that was on the outside of the bars was actually a very nasty human. He was in charge of the women and child criminals, if you want to call them that. The deportees. And Northern Illinois Train Spotting wants me to come back to America. I would say there's a dim possibility of it in 2023, late in the year. It's a very dim possibility. But if it happens, it would be California. It is rather a large station, this one. Have some Dostos sitting over there. They look taller in Train Sim Classic than they do in Train Sim World. I should probably knock our high beam lights off, shouldn't I, so I don't blind people. Maybe I should knock the lights off. No, I can't turn them off. Coming up to an Uber Cola sign. Excellent. Now, before I open the doors, oops, I want to go over here. Because what is this? It's a 143. Fair enough. Doors open. Jonah says he'd love the key, but unfortunately he's quite busy in the next couple of hours. Well, so far you're the only one on stream that wants it. Oh, while we're waiting for this, why don't we look at the next quiz and see if anybody can get into this one. I've just knocked over my stream deck.
Shall we play a game?
Let's try the first clue. It's going to be behind my head. Real soon now. There it is. Does that help anybody? Loco en route. No current destination. Scenario incomplete. You did not complete the scenario successfully. Oh no. Oh well. That's okay. Alright. Now, let's do the red one. Actually, before I do the red one, let me show you what I mean that it does actually have a timetable. So if we go into Scenario Editor, and let's go have a look at the one I was doing yesterday, which is on East Coast Main Line, and the Blue Peter Record Breaker. So this only has one train on it, but I'll show you that they do actually have a timetable. Some steam engines have more than one headlight. So in this one, for example, there's only one service, so if I added more trains, they'd be here. But you do actually set a timetable in TSC, but it's a fixed timetable. So everything runs to that. Which is why if you're late, scenarios tend to break in Train Sim Classic. Blue Peter! Well, we're not going to drive you, Blue Peter, so get out of there. I was just showing off. Alright, standards. And now we do morning RE to Sassnitz. There we go. And we're in the red version. Torquay in the 50s. Oh, close. But Riviera line, yes. Okay, so Artful has the route. Just writing that down so I don't forget. Good morning. You are driving the RE 76357 from Stralsund-Sassnitz, and this time it's during the day. Please wait for... Open the doors and wait for your departure. Well, we probably want to turn the train on too. And... what was it? Shift 8? Yep. PZB off. Excellent. And we want to go into forwards. You can also set the destination display, but I found that it doesn't really seem to work, so I don't. And the lights are correct. Everything looks happy. Let's go outside and have a look at this thing. It's the red Cityjet. It's quite pretty. And these are a lease train. They don't really belong to the train company. Here's another one buggering off over there. I think it's time to go. I think we're a minute late. There we go. Full power. All the beans. Artful's going with the Pacer. Interesting guess. And he says that the Class 40 was named after the ship and not the TV show. Or was that the route was named after the ship, not the TV show? I'm not going to speed this time. Says he's speeding. Because we're during the day. See far. Let's bring that down just a tad. There we go. And we'll leave it in T0. These things, are they made by Bombardier? It's an interesting question. Does it say Bombardier anywhere? Let's have a look in the Steam page. It'll say. Where is it? There it is. Hopefully it says up the top here in the manual. Siemens! There you go. It's a Siemens train. Siemens, I think, actually. Siemens? Siemens? Whatever. Northern Illinois Train Spotting asks another irrelevant question. What happens if a Class 1 doesn't want a locomotive and a short line is still operating when the lease term ends? Well, they can lease the locomotive from the leasing company because the leasing company owns it. That's how these things work. Do you know, in this direction I've never driven beyond this bridge, so we'll see what happens. I think you'll find that those old machines don't belong to leasing companies, they belong to the railroad. Leasing companies don't like old equipment. They cost more to maintain. And especially with the emphasis on cleaning up for climate change these days, old machines tend to be frowned on. And in some places actually banned. On our way to Stralsund-Sassnitz, which we wouldn't have known driving in the night last night, appears to be next to a port. So I think we'll stop at the station, we'll pop over and look at the port. Zifa. Did people like the spooky videos I put out? Oh. It's one of the leftovers from America is our massive Halloween display. Told by people who come to visit it that we have the best one in our suburb. So there you go. go have a look at the port. Got a few old cranes that look like they should be on tracks, but they're not. Thought I saw a really big crane around here somewhere too. What's this one? That looked really big, but it's not as big as it looked. And how does it load ships? It's too far from the edge of the water. Okay. It's time to go to Ultifar. Sounds like a planet from Star Wars. Did I just open the doors again? I did, didn't I? Ah, well, just have to wait for them to close. That's okay, they will. Eventually. Let's look in the passenger cabin while we're waiting. And they have a clock, which works. How about that? Ah, that's kind of cool. Very bright. Has anybody told you that? It's like you glow in the dark. Maybe you grew up in Chernobyl. Alright, doors are closed. Away we go. Full power. Shortline railroad in Missouri that still offers cab rides to rail fans and even let them operate their trains. I'd be a little bit surprised about that. Just a little bit. Unless you're talking about the interurban railway on the grounds of the Old Midwest Threshers Association, which is in Missouri. Actually, no, I lie. It's not. It's in Ohio. TSC speeding. Naughty. Cruise control on, hands in pockets. This one I missed out in the dark. I had no idea we're driving across a giant lake. Which means, of course, gratuitous bridge screenshot. Surprised we haven't been Seaford yet. We have. We have been Seaford. Look at that. Alright, wait till it stops. That was predictable, wasn't it? You can stop now. Alright, off we go. Gives us an excuse to go full beans again. See, it's funny that people complain about the... can you open the windows in this? No. It's funny that people complain about the sky being too bright in Train Sim World 3 now. Look at that! Not a unique issue by any means. Now arriving, Ultifar. The station blown up by the Death Star. Beep goes Sifa. while we're waiting,
Shall we play a
quiz. Let's get
game?
rid of a block. Let's get rid of another block. Here we go. Number 3. Here we go. Come on. There we go. That's not very helpful, is it? Ah, it's quite okay, Lexic Dark. I should actually turn it up for night runs. You were quite right to ask for it. It was Alderaan that got blown up. Tatooine's where the other rebel base was. Sifa's Wangbrim song. Not quite. Let's keep it that way. Would be a class 43. Do class 43s smoke a lot? I'm going to turn down the ambient light because it's a bit much. It's still a bit much, but you know, it's better. It's making noises like it's stopping me, but it's not. That's okay. Obviously a windy day today. It's called a synagogue, Northern Illinois train spotting. It's sad that it was on fire. Lexic Dark asks if I can call out the signals that PZB will be acting on. Yeah, sure. In fact, what I might just do... Let's turn PZB back on, now that I can see stuff. We'll see how we go. Just have to remember not to speed, because PZB will bite me for speeding. Steve-ha. I'll have to pay attention now and stay in the cab, though. Flying Scotsman was in last week's quiz. Lexic Dark is trying to learn and sees the speed one. So you have to acknowledge speeds and you have to acknowledge adverse signals. I'm told you don't have to acknowledge 500 Hz magnets, but in Train Sim Classic I actually think you do. And in Train Sim World you did, but they fixed it. Zifa Swangbrem song. I got slowing down just a little bit early to this one. Just a little bit. Must be driving into the sunrise for it to be this bright. Ah. There we go. That makes it easier, doesn't it? That much better. Maybe not. Quiz time.
Shall we play a game?
I think I'll let a couple go because we already know what the route is. It definitely is Riviera. Well done, Artful. So we'll let number 5 go. Number 6 might give it away, but we'll see. We'll see. There we go. See if that gives it away or not. Alright, away we go. Lexic Dark says he believes the 500 needs to be acknowledged if you're over the speed. Now you have to be under the speed. You have to be doing 25 kilometers an hour or less when you cross a 500. Otherwise it won't matter if you acknowledge it or not, it will bite you. Well, the train will. The magnets don't actually do anything. They're passive. But I don't think you have to acknowledge them. I mean, you can, doesn't hurt. The safest way to run PZB if you're learning is just acknowledge everything, says he, speeding. Hopefully we won't come across a triple magnet while I'm slowing down again. Wrong. There we go. That'll do. 88.1. Artful thinks it's old, 60s or 70s. Well, I'll go with old. Definitely go with old. Good night, Darrow. Have a good sleep. Next stop, Samptons. Ladies and gentlemen, our next stop is Samptons. Please don't forget your children when you leave the train. We will sell them on eBay if you leave them behind. We'll go a quiz while
Shall
we're
we
waiting.
play a game?
Let's knock one more off. I think the next one will give you the name of the railway. Not quite. The logo's not quite visible. How old do you think it is now, Artful? Excuse me. Two kilometres from Samptons. Just wait for a CIFA and then we can do some outside shots. There we go.
Shall we play a
Just for you,
game?
Artful. Next stop, Samptons. If you're leaving us today, don't forget to do something uber Austrian. I watched a very funny Austrian video that popped up on my YouTube feed when I was Googling for Austrian trains to learn a little bit more about this route. It's basically an Oktoberfest thing that they do in Austria, and I'm not sure if they do it in Germany as well, but definitely Austria, where they have this big spinning floor. It's a circular floor. And for no readily apparent reason, all the women get on it, and they try to be the last one left when it spins. And I have to admit, I reckon I'd get really dizzy, but it looks like lots of fun. That's clearly the back of my train. There we go. There's the front. The clocks agree with each other. I kept waiting for Sifa to stop me then, but it didn't. Ah, Artful thinks it's a diesel rail car. Is it a diesel rail car? Could be. I think we should have another look, don't you?
Shall we play a game?
Well, we now know whose it is. And I'd say there was another clue to look for in the bits that we can see so far. So
Shall we
quickly
play a
flicking back
game?
there's definitely a clue there. I can see 2 clues, in fact. It's so long to Teschenhagen. I think we will.
Shall we play a game?
So, what do you think? I think I know what it is. Ah! I put the answer up very briefly. I did a little video about it a couple of weeks ago. .7 kilometres to Teschenhagen. Michael Newbury hopes I know what it is. Yeah, I kind of do. And if you look at that 1 or 2 frames of video that went up, you'll know what it is too. No, it's not from Forest Trail. It's a proper DLC. Ah, Sifa. Sifa. Stayed outside for too long. Very good. You can be quiet now. Maximum beans. You know, if you opened up another tab and you had a quick look through my videos, you might find it. In fact, I think I did 2 on it fairly recently. Testenhagen coming up. Stiefel. It's a fairly powerful little thing because even going uphill in a fairly steep gradient, this thing just keeps on accelerating. Zifa. I wonder what I've got my gradient unit set to. It's unlikely to be a 9.8% grade. Ladies and gentlemen, Testenhagen. Testenhagen has 2 platforms and they are offset. Who knows why they offset platforms like this in modern stations? Ah, Michael Newbury has the steam rail motor from GWR. Clearly followed my hint and went, yeah. 10 points, Michael. 10 points artful. Come on, doors. That leaves us with 1 quiz to go today. And so far I haven't seen anything lexic dark that I would call out for PZB. It's basically a steam tram, but they were running it on the railway. I would be betting Northern Illinois Train Spotting is talking about overhauling diesels, even though we're driving on an electric route. Because he hates electric trains. That they're probably also re-gearing the locomotives. They wouldn't leave them with freight gear. They'd be too slow. Alaskan trains have power cars. You're right, they don't have HEP. And most of their trains are mixed anyway. And pretty short. So it wouldn't be surprised if their freight trains actually run on passenger gearing. Lexic Dark says Uberstrom equals all the beans. And on braking, I haven't seen any either. Thought there'd be a lot more signals. Yeah, you don't have to acknowledge green ones unless it's a change in speed zone. Cruising through the Austrian bush. Off to Bergen auf Rügen. Cruise. That was close. It should be a good shot. Good moment for a screenshot. Hello, Brad MacArthur. Ah, I've been Seaford. Actually, it's released. It's all good. We'll just keep crawling in though, because could be a little bit slow into this station. And how are you, Brad? Hopefully you're well. Brad was one of the first people to join the channel. I think you might have been the second one. It's very cool of you. Thank you for your support. They Habbins or Smiggins? I think they're Habbins. So there's a magnet there, but there's no reason to acknowledge it. PSW3 is fun. I would stream it more, but there's just so much new stuff coming out on TSC at the moment that I don't want to go through the pain of the 450 gig download. Doors are closing at Borgenoff Rügen. And Illinois thinks the fries are ready. And I'll use my new word, thank you Lexic Dark, Uberstrom. I think that one does look pretty nice artful, the Lake Constance route. I am pretty tempted myself. We haven't been offered that one though. Off we go to Litzau. Looking back there, the question that runs through my mind, is it a tilty train or was that just the super elevation? I'd stay back there and watch the crossing to see if they open up, but Sifa will bite me. We're going much better with PZB in this direction. No distractions yet. I know the Alaska Railroad is one of the only ones in the US, Northern Illinois train spotting, that will stop outside of stations because people ask them to. I'll stop anywhere. And they are the only source of fuel and food and building materials for lots of people who live near the railroad. Must be time for the next quiz.
Shall we play a game?
If you're wondering, the quiz things are a video. Here we go, clue number 1. Here it comes. Are you ready? Can you handle the truth? Ooh, 2 clues at once. The frame rate is... Can't see it. No, definitely can't see it. Let's see if I can get behind something dark and we'll be able to see it. Well, it's not actually on. There we go. Almost 60. So yeah, it's pretty good. If I bring the blind down a little, there we go. Be able to see it now. Passing by a large lake. And Artful's gone a guess with a diesel in BR blue and yellow. Yeah, I'd go with the BR. Not sure about the Northern England. I'm not going to say yes or no to that one. I just don't know the geography of that particular line well enough. Gradually slowing down for this 40 that's coming up. And Lexic Dark, we should have to acknowledge these speed signs, so I'm keeping an eye out for them. There should be a warning sign that I'll have to acknowledge, and this signal is flashing. So I have my acknowledge button ready at hand, and of course Cipher will go off at the same time, but that's life. There goes Cipher. I thought I held the button down long enough for that one, but clearly not. But I did manage to acknowledge it, because we're not stopping. PZB, it's always best to maintain just below the limit rather than right on it. I'll have to acknowledge this one because it's got a dropping speed. I had to acknowledge that one twice too. To push and hold and then push again. So that one basically said this speed is 40 and the next speed is 40. Fortuitous bridge shot. And I'll get Seaford, you watch. Nearly. That was pretty close. So we're doing a cross here with another one. And Artful says he probably watches too many streams, so see what people are making, so he needs to get out more. Fair enough. Diva. Ladies and gentlemen, now arriving Litzau. Yeah, a lot of people recommend driving 5 under it. You don't really have to, but the reason that they recommend that is if you, maybe if you're going downhill and you creep up a couple of kilometres, if you're driving 5 under, you'll be okay. Whereas if you're driving 1 under it or right on it, oh, I didn't come far enough forwards. Oh dear. But if you're driving at 1 kilometre under it or just under it, and you creep up a couple of kilometres because you're going downhill and you didn't realise it, you will get stopped. Let's watch the other one go. Why not? We're going to go too. Double banger. I'm going to wait till he moves before I accelerate. Alright, don't leave then. See if I care. Ah, parallel run! You know, I've got something you don't have, mate. I got a green one. You haven't got a green one. You have to stop. Do need to not get carried away, though. Right, I am speeding. Naughty. Because I was looking at the PZB speed limit, not the train speed limit. Not the line speed limit, rather. So PZB was limiting me to 45 because I'm monitoring, and the track was 40. I'm guessing he's going on that other line. Is it a proper line? Where does it go? Let's have a look. Oh, shut up. Quiet. Albert. Alright then, you can go now. Now let's have a look and see if it's a proper line. Oh yeah, it's a fairly long branch. And I'm speeding already. I don't see a triple magnet, so we're going to get away with this. I'll just leave it going along at 45, because in a moment we'll be allowed to do 60. In fact, there. We are now allowed to do 60. Zifa. Yes, there's a lot of... oops, let me pay attention for a moment. There we go. There are a lot artful where people are getting the Stadlers or the Siemens trains. Australia has both now. We have both flirts and kisses now. And Caltrain are getting flirts. Wonder what the Californians will think when they find out that their trains are called flirts. And you might think that flirt was just a, you know, an accidental naming, but no, when they came out with the next one and called it kisses, I think it's pretty obvious. That just means the next Siemens electric train will be called Foreplay. We don't have to acknowledge this signal because it's green and there's no speeds. Next stop, Sagard. We have flirts, V-Line have them. They're diesel flirts. They are all acronyms, but people are obviously being funny with them. This one's not displaying anything, so I shouldn't have to acknowledge it. Lexic Dark says they'll be first with their backs against the wall when the revolution comes. Probably better start slowing down, I think. And there's a magnet there, but I don't see anything attached to it. I suppose that could have been would be a 500 Hertz for the signal up here if it was red, but it isn't. I haven't seen a speed down sign, but I've slowed down anyway because the HUD says to. Although a little much, but that's okay. There's our sign. Don't have to acknowledge that one though, because it hasn't got a magnet. And we don't have to acknowledge this one, because both it doesn't have a magnet, but also it's a upward speed sign. Yeah, it's the velocities. Or as they became quaintly known when they first came out, the double-ended dildos. Because they just looked like them. This, of course, is dangerous language for YouTube because I did pre-declare that this stream would not have any sexual content. Too late now. Yeah, it is an acronym. If the very small chance actually comes off of getting to California next year, I look forward to riding the Caltrain electric trains, hoping they're up and running. That would be cool. But given we're going to finish this run early, we might take a train to Gilroy after this, because I haven't. I installed the route yesterday out of the Humble Bundle. When we stop, I'll grab a link to the Humble Bundle because there's 19 DLCs. Actually, there's the Train Sim Classic game itself and 18 DLCs inside the Humble Bundle. And you can basically pay whatever you want for it. I think the minimum is Australians is $1. But if you pay that, you only get Train Sim Classic. If you pay $20, you get Train Sim Classic and 19 DLCs. Of course, you may already have some of them, but given most routes are are $50 odd, and most trains are about $25 odd. If you don't have even one of them, it's a awesome way to get them. So let me just quickly grab a link to that, and I'll pop it in the chat. It's also supporting charity, which is probably the more important part of it. Community. There it is. B-link. Well, that's a really long link, and it's too long for this. Okay, let me go back here. Let me actually follow this link, and then I'll copy the link and paste it in. That's better. That's a short link. That'll fit. And there's a cable stuck under my enter key. There we go. Let's go! You've had it a year longer than me, Artful. Almost misbehaved there. Heading off to Lankan. Ziva. It's our little quiz going.
Shall we play a game?
Clue 3 wasn't very helpful. Let's go for Clue 4. Probably also won't be very helpful. Oh, that might be. Up we go. What have we got left? Not much. 2 stops? Yep. From Lankan and Sassnitz. Very good. Ooh, he's being naughty. In Australia, a train spot is called a gunzel. Hello, David Park. I'm not on the TSW forums as much as I used to be. There's a small core of very interesting and gifted individuals that have particular views. If I find myself there, I find myself arguing with them. That's a cool signal. Quite different. Next stop, Lankan. There are certainly some unrealistic people. I mean, there's some that, don't get me totally wrong, they do have, at times, justification for their gripes, but it's okay to be sad and disappointed about something, and that's perfectly fine. What I find sad is that they go on for years about something. It's like it's clearly not going to happen. They just go on and on and on. Yes, blinkered souls is one way to put it.
Shall we play a game?
Let's go for another clue. What do we get now? Top right hand corner. Let's go for clue 6 as well, because we're getting near the end of this run. Might even do clue 7 as well, since the train's only just ready to go. Come on, clue 7. Do your thing. There we go. Alright, I'll leave it there. Juice it up. I like these signals, they're cute. Mr. Nitz is trying to tell us about diesels again. Bournemouth. I think I'd happily go with Shunter. It's not the G6 though. Nice guess though. I don't think we're in PZB territory anymore with these old signals. These look fully mechanical to me. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now approaching our last stop, Sassnitz. Sassnitz. Thank you for riding today. Gather your belongings and your children and get off my train. Rolling into Sassnitz. You know, I'd go with a kind of Gronk Artful. It's not a Gronk, but it's kind of a Gronk. Very, very similar. When I saw it, I actually had to look it up. Because I'd never seen one before. Four minutes late. There we go.
Shall we play a
Let's try
game?
the next one. Excuse me. I think clue 8 will just set the error. But it doesn't really help on what it is, does it? You know, I made a cup of tea 2 hours ago. It's quite cold, but I'll drink it anyway. This brings us to the end of our ride at Sassnitz on the Cityjet. And I did not complete the scenario successfully. Really? I beg to differ. Naughty Skyhook. Oh, the crocodile will be a little bit longer than that, I would think. Let's just for the hell of it. One of the things that interest me, actually, this is an amusing one. So when you get, where is it? When you get Peninsula Corridor, you actually get two routes. So there's Peninsula Corridor, and then there's the other one, which is weird. Peninsula Corridor, San Francisco to Gilroy. Why is there two routes? It is definitely British. Let's put you out of your misery.
Shall we play a game?
Let's get rid of clue 9. Does anybody know now? Can't zoom in on it, unfortunately. But the number should give it away if you can read it. Whoop! Whoop! There was the answers! I stayed there too long. But anyway, let's do a quick run. Where's this one going? Tabian to Gilroy. Gilroy return. First train from Gilroy. That's a cab car. I hate cab cars. What about in standard? Is there anything in standard for this one? Actually, we'll go to the other route. Go to the main route, which I think is the main route anyway. Peninsula Corridor. And no, there's nothing that goes to Gilroy on this route. There's only Gilroy on the other one. So it looks like it's two separate routes. Well, I want to do Gilroy because I never have. So we're going to do Gilroy. So we'll do half of this one. Start. It's there for about 4 frames. Good evening, engineer. The weather today is calm and clear for our South Main journey. You'll be in charge of Caltrain 156 on commuter schedule from San Jose to Gilroy. Oops, turned on the wipers. What else can I turn on in this thing? Power handle, headlights. Lights? Wait, stop that. Bloody rail driver. Can't do anything with the brake there. And that brake's not applied, interestingly. That'll be fine. Did our headlights go on? They did. Yeah, quite possibly David Park. He looks shifty. Yeah, look at your watch. Left on time, mate. Sorry. Recently improved in Train Sim World, in fact. But you can't go this way in Train Sim World. You can only go the other way. And that one called Activity Rent-A-Car would be Enterprise Rent-A-Car. heading off towards the wild, wild west of Gilroy, home of garlic and very few vampires. I've never even ridden a train to Gilroy, isn't that sad? So I have no idea what to expect. Oh, and there's another crossing down there. All the beans. Next stop, Tamian. It is Huddersfield, Artful. Well done. Can you guess the loco? Here's a little Gronk. It's like a baby Gronk. A half-sized Gronk. It's 80 or 101. I have to admit I'm not sure. Probably, it must be 101. Ah, well done, Artful. Here's the O3. Yes, I got this route from the Humble Bundle. Well done, Artful. Ah, Poorhouse. I didn't see you there. Sorry. You got your expansion pack from the other day. Excellent. It was a little while ago. We came out of Austria long enough for people to get the quiz right. We went about as un-Austrian as you can get. Lexic Dark says, Gronk from the Urban Dictionary, Australian slang, a person who's totally lacking in fashion sense, motor skills and social skills. I've never heard it in that context. No, a Gronk is a six-wheeled coupled diesel mechanical locomotive. Maybe 3. We have some amps. There we go. And like a true passenger driver, 3 to 8. Scarlet Seeker calls himself Gronk. Fair enough. Allowed to do 79 miles an hour, which is a particularly weird speed, but it's mainly because if you go at 80 or higher, you have to have in-cab signalling and positive train control. And Caltrain doesn't have it. Head past some stabled units. How did I get into neutral? And why am I braking? Why am I in emergency? I'm confused. Let me guess, this thing's got a vigilance. No doubt we have to sit here for a minute now with all of our brakes on. Wait for the emergency light to go out. And it's gone out. Brakes off. I cannot do anything. Broken it. The emergency light is off, but it clearly doesn't think so. Not enjoying the rail driver much, I'll give it that. PCS reset. Okay, there we go. Now I'll be able to do it. The handle's still saying no, because the brakes are charging up, but I think it'll go. Once it charges the brakes, I think it'll be okay. There we go. Yes, David, Train Sim Classic. I didn't even know it had that feature. So I'm guessing it's got a vigilance control that doesn't come up on the HUD. Away we go. And isn't it funny, Mr. Illinois didn't hang around long enough to see a diesel bite me. And are these signals green or yellow? It's hard to tell. I think yellow. They look yellow, don't they? Definitely yellow. Back up to 79. Brakes are finicky things. What? What? Nothing came up. There were no sounds. Nothing. And I'm in emergency again. Good train. Yes, a good train, this one. Let's have a look at the Manuel, shall we? Train simulator. What's the name of this one? Gilroy. Mixed reviews. I think I see why. Driving FP42H Cat 14. That's the MP36. This is the GP38. And 17. Engine start, engine stop, but nothing about vigilance. Is there anything about advanced braking? I don't see anything about advanced braking. PMS and PCS, there we are. Now that's for the MP36. Doesn't talk about it for the True Cats. Annoying. Alright. Should be reset by now anyway. Charging. I didn't see one, Artful, but I'm not going to say no. In theory, we're allowed to go. Yes, it was an RTFM moment, you're right, and it didn't help. That's okay. It's another train. I'm guessing we'll be going around this one. Yeah, I think you're right, Artful, but it doesn't have any kind of track signalling, so maybe they just built it into the scenario. Be nice to have some warning about it, though, to know what it wants. Let's keep it in one to keep it stretched out a little. Or not. Thanks, rail driver. Always helpful. This is where the two drivers are going towards each other going, hope those switches are set. There's a video on YouTube of two UP trains actually had a head-on. Because they both thought they had the right of way. David says he's gotten many moments where it will say scenario failed even though it followed the instructions, as is specifically in Sacramento Northern. Yeah, that one's very finicky on whether you pass or fail the scenarios. Ah, it does have a thing. Look at that. But it doesn't make any noise. So it does have a vigilance. Just thank this guy for turning his headlights down by giving him an undies moment. And he's already leaving. And Artful says 2 blinker drivers now regular on the DTG forums. Yes. There's quite a few. I'm not bothering to accelerate because we're stopping at Capital anyway. Northern Illinois Train Spotting says there's a video of 2 Ferromex trains colliding head-on and the engineer and conductor were spotted running clear. Well, that's good. Hopefully they didn't die. And Lexic Dark, it does appear to be an undocumented feature, not in the manual, yes. These brakes are funny. We're not stopping there. Come on, train, you can do it. Yes, Jonah, if you're on Twitter, I'm Train Simulator 8 on Twitter. So just... Are you on Twitter? Wait. Oh, indeed, Artful. Even when you get annoying gameplay, it's still fun. And David says he basically doesn't know his signals, so it would be nice to have. Yeah, it's an interesting thing. You do have Discord. Are you on the forums, the Dovetail forums? Because there's no way to send a DM in YouTube yet. So that's me on the Dovetail forums. So if you send me a private message on the Dovetail forums, I shall send you a key. It's just an easy way to get you a key without either of us revealing an email on stream. Thank you, Artful. We go to Blossom Hill, which is how far away? Not very far. The other way I can do it, Jonah, if you don't want to register for the forums, is I can create a Google form right now and post it in here. And you can contact me through that if you want. Oh, it's popped again. Ah. It's too busy filling out a form. Creating one for him. Text, but we'll let it stop. Get a link to it, shorten it. There you go. Hopefully no one else will respond on that. I'll turn it off as soon as I've got Jonah's email. Meanwhile, let's reset this. Go on, go into emergency. There you go. Beelzebub off because it's annoying. Actually, in emergency? Yes. Just got to wait for that thing tripped. Alright, let's go look around while we're waiting. Why not? This is one of the interesting things I find about US is everybody's house looks the same. So a lot of towns are like this. So when you come home drunk and you go, so which house is mine? They all look the same. That's okay. Blossom Hill. Sooner or later that will reset. Where's our train? I've lost it. Oh, there he is. Have we got a reset yet? try it. Yep, we waited long enough. And just wait for the brakes to charge up. And we'll see if Jonah's sent in his form. One response. Okay, I will turn off that form now. No longer accepting responses, so I will email you a key shortly, Mr. Jonah. Hopefully that's charged up enough to go. Looks like it. I'll send you a key right after the stream. And I'll also do a community post with the current leaderboard from all of the quizzes and things we've done over the last few months. Well, your friend needs to become a subscriber, Mr. Northern Illinois Train Spotting. And you had a key for your friend, but unfortunately you revealed it publicly and someone else grabbed it. Lessons learned in life. How do you know it's not a quiet zone, Northern Illinois Train Spotting? Maybe it is. It's always funny when you do this. Briefly end up inside a person somewhere. Except there are no persons on that train at all. It's empty. Spending hundreds of dollars on diesel to move a train that's got no one on it. And in true Caltrain fashion, we're not even going to reach the speed limit before we come back down. I'll do a community post on the channel, Brad. It'll do. Yeah, that's very true, Artful. Artful says there's lots of people in Discord who are only there for freebies. Discord's a little bit like Reddit, I suppose. There's really good people who are really helpful and really useful. And there's everybody else. These brakes are quite strange in this loco. But that's okay. I'll make it into a pretty little picture. Post it. I didn't have my donger going. Naughty driver. Blossom Hill. Go look inside. Since we can. There's the luggage racks. It's interesting that they're shiny, because the Caltrain seats are actually material. And the top level's always fun. I prefer the top level when I ride on the Caltrain trains. Simply because it's much harder for people to get anywhere near you. I better get out before it locks the doors on me. It has. And we didn't hear the bong bong. Stand clear, the closing doors. Because it's California. And apologies in advance to any Californians, but there's so much dumb in California, they have to protect everybody. Away we go. Hey, welcome, Jonah. It's good to give something away to someone who's been around the channel for ages. And Artful says Australian wine company, isn't it? Blossom Hill? Might be the export name for a wine company. They often have different names on export and internally, but let me Google. Yeah, apparently it is. Well, there's one in Blossom Hill in... well, actually there was. It's called Blossom Hill Winery, and it's permanently closed. I'm just trying to see if there's an Australian one. Yeah, there is. But it's a marketing name purely for California by the looks of it. Just looking at it. Interesting. It's probably someone like Penfolds. They do a lot of export wines. We used to export all our rubbish wine to China, but they stopped buying it, so I don't know where it goes now. It's getting dark. Morgan Hill in 11 miles. I think I used to deal with a bus company in Morgan Hill. I don't know, Artful, it might do. I think, like most countries, there are wineries that produce awesome wine, and there are wineries that produce so-so wine. Drinkable, but not amazing. Who plants bridges under a freeway? Plants trees, rather, under a freeway bridge. Do you mean exchange a steam key, Northern Illinois train spotting? Tell your friend to subscribe. After they've been around for a while and been active, you never know their luck. I do have a couple more. I think I've got one more Steam and one more PlayStation. And I've got a TSC key as well. I have a few TSC DLC from the Humble Bundle that I can give away too, because I already had them. Ah! I didn't even see the little thing come on that time. I didn't see this thing light up. At this point, I'm not even going to honk for the crossing because I won't be going through it. Let's go and explore again. While we wait for our minute timer to expire. It's birds, Artful. That's it. You'd think this big thing would have sounds, wouldn't you? Got its own substation. Get a nice bit of hum off that would be good. Have a reflective moment. Yeah, I think this thing should probably beep or something like that. BCS reset. Charging up the pipe. Loco brakes have already come off, but the train won't have yet. Not yet. Not yet. There we go. We did indeed, Lexic Dark. Yeah, it is a bit annoying when things like this happen, Artful, because if you're not watching the HUD, and imagine if you wanted to drive without it, you'd be totally stuck. I'm not going to say that the little exclamation mark thing didn't light up, because I wasn't watching it, but I didn't notice it. And unfortunately, by the time you guys, if you notice it, and you call out, that's actually 26 seconds after it's happened. Artville still pops into the old TML subway sim now and again. Shame the bugs were never sorted and TML just dropped it. It would have been cool. I have all 4 World of Subways. I play the Path, and I play the New York one. Yeah, the 7 line. That's quite good. I don't play the U-Bahn one much because it's the same trains that are in Trainsim World. And I think Train Sim Classic too. And same with the Bakerloo version. I just play the Train Sim World version of it because the World of Subways one is a bit crappy. Off he heads into the sunset. Five miles to Morgan Hill. It definitely didn't light up that time. I was watching it the whole time. It did not light up. This is a bit bogus. I'm going to have to see if there's a patch for this. Maybe a community fix for the script. Yeah, World of Subways is a bit weird in its key usage because it needs an actual number pad. Oh, I don't have to wait a minute. That's good. You did see it, Michael. Ah. Thank you. Not yet. Soon. Yay, no. No. Yay. Does it light up and then go out when PCS trips? Maybe that's what's happening. I can't find anything on clues about turning it off. So I may just have to pull this apart and hack the Lua script myself. And either make it make a noise or kill it. I don't mind having it, but I want a brighter visual indicator and I want a sound. See, I saw it that time. And David says that he's done absolutely nothing today. It's so sad, he's only done gaming. Vapors. I have to put up the last of our Halloween decorations. There's a couple more to go up. I put all the lighting up last night. I had grand plans to make it run off my theatre controller, but it had other ideas, so I'll have another go at that today in daylight. Yeah. Lexic Dasks asks, what is the vigilance warning timeout period for these? It seems to be a few seconds. Definitely needs a joy buzzer to tell you you're having too much fun. Yes, I agree with that. Often vigilance varies. I know in our locomotives on our railway, they vary anywhere between about 25 seconds and 3 minutes. Because if they went off at a fixed time all the time, you'd just sit there going clunk, clunk. Ours also penalise you. If you keep hitting the button, it'll go off. Not allowed to keep hitting the button. Saw it that time. Just gets the 4 in. Oh, indeed, Jonah. Jonah's saying that the sim exemplifies a problem with American commuter railroads, the poor acceleration of diesels. Very much so. They're really not good for commuter traffic. That's why Metra's getting battery locomotives, isn't it? Northern Illinois Train Spotting, otherwise known as NITS. Two miles to Morgan Hill. Ooh, and that cement truck was doing drifties. Claims initial reduction, but I haven't seen a change in the air pressure. There we go. Artful says he couldn't find a patch on the Train Sim community website that would help. Yeah, I'll have a look on Rail America as well. Because there's quite a few community sites. There's UK Train Sim, there's Rail America, there's the Austrian one. There's a few. But failing that, I'll pull it apart and I'll have a look at the lure. Assuming it's not in binary, which it might be. Oh yeah, crossing. Naughty driver. There's a crossing in the middle of the station. Only in America. It's like that one in Boston where the train actually blocks 2 roads when it's sitting in the station for half an hour. It's going to stop a bit far up there, but that's okay. All good. It'll still do the job. We'll just sit here, I think. Watch it come past. When the moment comes. I should have been recording this video. I could have put it up as a separate one. Oh well. Indeed. Well, like I said for the last one, Michael, only in America. It's probably one of those things where someone thought, hey, we need a crossing here because someone got run over. So they put in a crossing. And then they probably got a situation where someone else got run over even though it had flashing lights. So they put in a fence to prevent that happening. And now the people go around the fence and don't use the crossing. It does look nice, artful. For a 20-year-old gaming engine, it pulls off some quite nice graphics sometimes. That would not surprise me that you've seen someone taking a jog on Northeast Corridor. It really wouldn't. Even better in the part where they go quick. We got left just the two, San Martin and Gilroy. And look at that. I'm 15 minutes late and I'm not even there yet. This must be a curve or something coming up here. Time to give it a stretch. A little crossing. Big sweeping bend. Now approaching San Martin. If I remember rightly, San Martin has a Costco. That's the only reason we used to come down here. That'll do, because we're not going to block it. Off we go for the last part of our journey down to Gilroy, and that will be the end of the stream for today. Next week, I think we've got some Flying Scotsmen. And I haven't decided for the week after that, so we'll see. Lexic Dark says thumbs up on the picture-in-picture. Yeah, it's helping with the reflection, just that. And I ended up with a little, I think, $5 neutral density filter, which works quite well. Or a circular polarizer. And, yes, no head tracker today. The head tracker is on these headphones, which became sad. But the head tracker actually got broken. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Don't. The head tracker actually got broken by a Windows update. Look at that, you don't have to wait. That means Brightline must have train control, ATCS and Axis. Or the new one. Not allowed yet. Not allowed yet. Allowed yet. Not allowed yet. Still not allowed yet. No. 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 Oh, there it goes. This one's going the opposite direction, Jonah. This one's going to Gilroy. And yes, it is a bit typical for a Windows update. Not only did it stop the head tracker working, but if I plug it in, it actually crashes the USB completely, which means all my devices go away. As it is, you saw me unplug my microphone at the start of the stream and plug it back in again because it cracked the SADs. So it's Windows 11 22H2. Great for gameplay. It's an active little excavator over there. Don't you wish we had those in Train Sim World? It's the little things that I miss sometimes. That's okay. It's funny the moire patterns you see in the roof sometimes. Okay, give up. Where's the crossing? Oh, it's a tiny one. Four and a half miles to the end of the run. And I can guess why this train's empty. Because it would have had to have left San Francisco at about 4:30 to get out here by this time. Three miles to the Gallic capital of America. Gilroy was the furthest south in my territory. Not counting the very short consulting trip I did down to Orange County Transit. Missed that one. Little crossing. Stay regular, apparently. Big bottle of prune juice. That'll do it. My brakes aren't doing it. Wrong. Release brakes. Release. 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 Where's this crossing? Here it is. Fortuitous bridge shot. Boring bridge though. Started honking just a little early there. Early enough to have been running at 79 miles an hour. Imagine living there, you'd get a bit sick of trains, wouldn't you? Make our approach into Gilroy. Another Union Pacific goods train awaiting to carry its load of stuff. They will deliver, apparently. Welcome to Gilroy. End of the line. The only bit of Caltrain that won't be electrified. Doesn't surprise me that much. They don't run a lot of services down here. And while initially they're planning on keeping a number of diesels to run the service from San Francisco to Caltrain, I reckon they'll stop that after a while, and you'll get electric to San Jose and then diesel down to Gilroy. And there's the beloved Vallejo Transit Bus Company. PCS tripped. Ah, it's the end of the trip anyway. Don't care. Doors open. Don't care what else you do, train. Because we're not going anywhere now. Well, that's been it for today. Jonah, I will send you your key as soon as I finish this. Thank you very much for joining in, folks. It's really cool to have so many people in the chat and being engaging and having fun. And scenario complete, even though my train's sitting here in emergency. That's okay. Alright, thanks for watching, folks. Enjoy yourselves. I'll see you next week for Flying Scotsman. I've got a couple of days off, so you never know what might happen tomorrow or Tuesday. Which could be Sunday and Monday for you guys, I guess. Alright, see you later. Bye. Thanks for watching, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. I always like to get your feedback in the form of likes and comments because they help me understand what you want. Give the channel a subscribe and click on the tinkly things so you don't miss out on any new stuff. And thanks for your ongoing support. And please, be safe out there.